Hi guys, happy Saturday. Welcome back to Goodbye Grains. Today we are going to be figuring out what to do with all that leftover coconut pulp after making coconut milk last week. So what I actually do, this is the coconut pulp. If you haven't watched last week's video, I'll put it in the description box below so you can click on that and watch it. This is what it looks like. It kind of looks very similar to regular flour, just that's compacted down. And I actually pop this in a sealable container, and I'll just pop it in the freezer until I have enough to make coconut flour. So what we are going to do, I've actually lined a couple baking trays with some foil just for easy cleanup. And we are going to take this coconut pulp, squeeze as much of the leftover moisture that might still be in there from being in the freezer or just kind of sitting in the fridge if that's where you're keeping it until you're ready to make your flour. We're going to squeeze as much moisture out of it with just a clean kitchen towel, spread it out on the baking sheet, and then we're going to bake it at the oven's lowest temperature for a handful of hours until it starts to really dry out the coconut pulp. Once that's done, we can let it cool, and then we can just throw it into the food processor and pulse it for, I think it's going to be probably about 10 to 12 pulses until it looks pretty fine like coconut flour. So this way you aren't wasting any ingredients. You don't have to throw away all the coconut pulp after you've made your coconut milk and waste, ingredients and stuff. And then now you don't have to buy coconut flour in the store anymore. You can use this for any of your baked goods or whatever other recipes that call for coconut flour. So what we're going to do first is just spread out our kitchen towel and pour our coconut pulp right over the top. This kind of gets a little bit messy, so just don't do this on a very clean, super clean kitchen, because you'll probably be wiping up after. And all you're going to do is just kind of, very similar to when we made the coconut milk, you're just going to pull the corners together, hold this top tightly, and just kind of wring it, almost like if you've ever washed your car and you're wringing out a squeegee, or what are those things called? A chamois, not a squeegee. And you're trying to get as much water out of it as possible. As you can see, there's a couple drips, so let me put the container underneath it. And then just squeeze. Now, this is when lifting those weights and all that stuff comes in handy and you have those big muscles. So do that a few times until you think you've gotten most of the moisture out. Then you can just unravel the towel, and just dropping two of the corners, you can pour out the coconut pulp. Set this aside, and then just make sure you have clean hands, and you can just kind of crumble apart the coconut pulp. Now I'm going to do the other tray, and then we are going to pop this in a 175-degree oven for a couple hours. Now you definitely want to keep an eye on this. You don't want to walk away from it for too long. You don't need to stand in your kitchen for 3 hours, but certainly kind of every once in a while just go back, check the tray, kind of shake it around. You can take a wooden spoon and kind of move the coconut pulp around. You just want to make sure it's not going to burn. So we'll be back in a few hours. So about 15 minutes ago, I took the coconut pulp out of the oven. It was in there for approximately 3 hours at 200 degrees. I kind of moved the coconut around a couple times, like probably 45 minutes in, and then about every 45 minutes to an hour after that. So now we can put it into our food processor. And you can just do this in small batches. You're just going to put the top on and just pulse it until it's finely ground. And what you are left with is some nice homemade coconut flour. Perfect to use in any baked goods or any other recipes that call for coconut flour. Now make sure you store this in a tightly sealed bag, and this should keep easily for a few weeks. You can even pop it into the fridge if you want to make sure that it stays nice and fresh. So I will see you again next week, and have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.